Hello again, and welcome back to Tips, Tricks, and How-To on the Basics of Quilting. So today I have laid out 3 different fabrics that I've selected and already ironed because, we don't like watching ironing, it's boring. Today we're going to work on strips and how to make some of our more complicated squares and things simpler. So today we're going to learn how to do just a simple 3-strip block. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our fabric, fold it into fourths. This is nice, smooth fabric. Then we're going to take our nice long ruler. We're going to go back here and back to our cutting. We're going to line up edges to where it goes across a straight line on our flat line. This is the side that it has been folded on, so we want to go to the back edge where it doesn't have open ends. So first thing we're going to do is make a straight cut. And today I think we're going to dial it back and we're only going to do maybe 2.5-inch strips to make our block. That shouldn't be too bad. So we have our flat edge here. We're going to come over here and we're going to line up our 2.5 inches across, and then we're going to cut this strip here. And since we're doing strips, we're going to leave it as a 2.5-inch wide strip. Then we're going to come over here and do our next one. Fold it into fourth, or fold it twice, not necessarily fourths. Come up with some sort of straight edge type thing here. Line up a straight line on our folded line. The open-ended folded part is on that side. Take our little rotary cutter. See, this is the width of the strip that I cut here. Just enough to make sure it's even. Going to flip it around, and we're doing 2.5 inches. So we have lined up this side with the 2.5 and this side with the other end to make sure that it's nice and even every direction. I'm going to cut that. Blade's almost needing to be replaced anyway. So we have another strip. And you'll notice here that these 2 strips are totally different lengths. And that's okay at this point because we're not worried about that right now. That's for another day. And this one is going to be super long. And I don't think I want to do... We're only going to do part of this one because we don't need it like 2 yards long. Okay, maybe it's not that long, but it's close. So I'm only going to do part of this one. So I'm going to do just the folded end here. And because I'm not going to do the whole thing, I'm going to come over here, not cut it on the folded part because that'll mess my thing up. And I'm just going to cut it off, throw it over there. Okay, now we're going to get to work. I can tell this one has a little bit folded in, so I'm going to have to back it up a little bit to be able to find my straight line and get it going. So I put my straight line here, and I'm going to make a straight line here. So I believe, yes, sometimes I like to double check. And when I fold it, I make sure it's nice and smooth all the way down. Otherwise, if there's too much fold and bubble, it gets a little wonky and bumpy. So here, we're going to do our 2.5 again. Like so. And we now have a nice little 2.5-inch strip. Obviously, none of these are all the same length, but they don't have to be right now. This isn't what we're after. This is something that we'll see here shortly. So, I think, let's see. That may be the way we do it. I think I like that way. Yep, I think we're going to keep the little flower piece in the middle and do it like that. So, then we're going to come over here to our handy dandy sewing machine. Phone charger. Okay. Alright, and we're going to do this much the same as we did yesterday, only this time we're going to take our 2 strips, we're going to put them together facing each other, try to line them up as best we can. This one we may want to use pins. Normally I probably wouldn't, but for the sake for y'all I will put a couple of pins in along the line here, and then put our 1/4 inch in. Okay. And you notice I'll be holding the fabric here so it doesn't move and slide, because I haven't pinned it very far. And even if you pin it, you still want to make sure that all your edges are lining up as you run it through. And then I'm going to stop it right here at the end of my darker color. So then we're going to open it up, and we have the 2 together. And we wanted to put our cream color on the other side of the flowers. So we can do that. We're going to line up closest we can, probably on one side, just so we have a more even side and it's not total cattywampus here. And make sure it's lined up every so little bit where it seems to start wanting to wander away. So, and then I'll probably start it here, because for this we're going to make it simple, and we're just going to start the seam where the other one left off. I'm going to put it in there. So now we have 3 strips together. What can we do with these 3 strips? Well, let's go iron it and we'll find out. So we're going to lay it out. We're going to do this just like we did yesterday. We're going to open the seams when we iron it and make sure it's nice and flat and smooth. So, open up those seams. Iron it all the way down here. Do the same with this one. move everything too close here. Alright. And if the seam isn't perfectly ironed out, it's not the end of the world. Alright, now my iron's hot. Alright, and then this side, kind of smooth out some of those bumps that I made because it wasn't cooperating too well. Try to keep it straight and iron it straight. We need straight lines. Straight lines are our friends in quilting. Okay. Then, see, nice straight lines. Now we're going to come back over here. And we're going to make our block. Blocks? Yes. So, I'm going to switch my rulers because, well, that's okay. I like to do these anyway. So I'm going to come over here. And so remember we had 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So after we delete all the seams off, because we already took a 1/4 inch from this one, a 1/4 inch from this one, actually 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch on either side, and a 1/4 inch here, you're going to end up with 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches after all the seams are gone. So what we need to do when we cut this other piece is we need to make sure our block is even. Unless, of course, we're doing rectangle blocks, but we're not going to do that. We're doing square blocks. So to be able to create a square, we're going to come over here. We're going to line our ruler up down the straight side here, straight side over here. And if you notice, mine's just not quite entirely straight. It's a little wavy, but it's not too much. It's not more than 1/4 inch. If it's more than 1/4 inch, that's when we have problems. So we're going to cut off the end because it wasn't very smooth. So now we have a nice straight line here. Nice straight line there, and all the rest. So our block is going to be a 6 inch because 1, 2, 3 2s makes 6.5. But we still have a 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch there. And we also have to remember our seams on the side. So for the length of this, we're going to go 6.5. So we can, when we take off that 1/4 inch on each side, it's going to be a full 6 inch block. So we're going to line our lines up. Sometimes if you want to use these lines going down the center, those are okay too. And that's actually what I do more times than not. So 6.5 here, and then we cut it here. And now we have a cute little 6 inch block. And I'm going to see how many more of these I can make so we can work on something here. My line 6.5 there. My line's going down here pretty much there. One more. And we'll just leave it. You see, now we can turn them sideways and mismatch them and twist them and create a line or more blocks. Isn't that simple? And if we wanted to, we could sew these together, and then we could put 2 more. We could turn it this way, and then that one this way, but I don't have enough fabric left to show you that. But you get the idea, and one of these days we're going to work on a quilt where we actually do this, which will probably be pretty soon. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today, and I hope that helped.